Hello friends, it's another Tuesday and I welcome you to the Mental Catalyst. I am Michael Amankwa. The Mental Catalyst, or TMC, is a show that seeks to empower everyone to achieve their purpose and full potential on earth. Once again, welcome. Today's episode is episode 10 of season 4, titled Endurance Week. Review of Endurance Week. The one before, which was about 2 weeks ago, was season 4, episode 9, titled Resilience Week. So, as most people have been following TMC and activities, last week, myself and a few good men decided to take a week off to go have fun at, Afadja, in Volta region. So, today is about the week's activities, the challenges, the lessons, just an overview of that, which is what I intend to share today. So I want to start with two key words. The first one is resilience. Resilience. And that's the first word. And the second one is endurance. So the first one, resilience. What is the meaning of resilience? The meaning of resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. I'll take it again. The capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. Then endurance was the meaning or definition of endurance. The ability to endure an unpleasant or difficult process or situation without giving way. Okay, basically it's about giving up. So I'll take that again. The ability to endure an unpleasant or difficult process or situation without giving way. So why are these two keywords important? The function of man is to live, not just live, but to live a good life. And to live a good life, one needs to know thyself. And to know thyself, you have to go through a lot of life's challenges and whatever life has to offer. And for you to be able to live a good life, when it's all said and done, you cannot know thyself without being resilient and having endurance. So as most people know, I'm on a project to go hike Kilimanjaro next month, which is September 15th. And as part of my training, I decided to, I took a week off and walked from Ayimensah to Pediasi 3 times a day, from like 5 a.m. to about 11 for five days. That was done about 3 weeks ago. And the second activity, which was the week of resilience, which was for Mount Afadja. And for that, I had to go to the Volta region, I think that's the name, the municipality, or the name of the community, and hike Afadja on a daily basis. So on the 14th of August 2022, myself, another gentleman called Clemens Daku, and Charles Jokuto left Accra and went to Afadja to start the week. So we got there late afternoon, had lunch, and got settled in. And when I go to Kilimanjaro, of course, I'm not going to sleep in a nice bed, in a nice house. I'm going to sleep in a tent. So when I went to Afadja, the plan was to experience sleeping in a tent, something that I had never done before. So 2 tents were set up for myself and Clemens. Charles, our young lion, had the luxury of sleeping in the room, but Clemens and I had the tent. So the first day, every day, the plan was to wake up at 5:30, get ready by 6, and then go climb Mount Afadja. Okay? And I knew it was going to be a tough week. And the reason why I knew it was going to be tough was that, during the resilience week, it was pretty difficult because I had a challenge with my legs and my ankle, for which I developed some muscle pain. So I knew that hiking Afadja for 5 days straight was going to be a challenge. But I also knew that I was going to test my endurance. And what I wanted to do was to see whether I was really prepared and ready for the big challenge of hiking Kilimanjaro. So 5:30 we get ready. 6 o'clock we have our breakfast. When we're going, we bought 4 pieces of bread. So we just make some quick tea and then we pack our hiking gear and then off we go. So when we get to the bottom, the first day we go to the bottom of, I call it the base camp of Afadja. So, we all held hands, did a quick prayer, because in anything you do, you want to commit it to, to our maker upstairs. So I had a quick prayer, gave him a little pep talk, and then Charlie, off we went. So we went up, and for me, I had done Afadja twice. I had done, it was in February this year, and then May 7th this year. Charles also did it May 7th with me, as part of a TMC arrangement that we had. But Clement, prior to that, 20 years ago, I had tried to summit Afadja, and he gave up along the line and was not able to summit. So this was his first time. So off we went. We were able to get to the top of Afadja in no time. I think the first day we did about an hour, a couple of minutes on top of that, and then we descended. Then after that, we added on a walk to Togo Waterfalls, which is also close to, Afadja Mountain. I think that's about 45 minutes walk. So we did that as well. Came back to base, which is our lodge, Tagbo Falls Lodge. I keep messing up the name. Tagbo Falls Lodge. Yeah. So we went there, and the first day was done. Second day, up we went again. This time around, we went up. We got a guide, so we went up, and then we decided to also add the second tallest mountain in Ghana to that trip. So the second tallest mountain is called Mountain Edu. So you climb all the way to Afadja, then you descend from the other side. There are two key entrances to Afadja. One takes you through the town, and the other one, I think there's a village somewhere. So you descend, and then you do another long walk all the way to the Edu. And when you get up there, Edu gives you a whole different view as well. Okay, so we did that, came back. So on that day, we did, I think, about 5 hours of hike. We did about 5 hours of hike. And for me, as we were doing it, there were a lot of things I was looking at. I was checking whether I was physically fit and ready. I was listening to my body. I was having different thoughts here and there. And most importantly, I was also watching the two gentlemen that I had. Luckily for me, I've had the time to do a lot of practice in the past in terms of my daily walks, running, cycling, and then the long walk category. But here I was with two gentlemen who didn't have the opportunity to train as much as I did. So now here they were, in a challenge or in a situation where they were not fully prepared. But now they were a guy who was determined to do Afadja 5 days straight and all of that. So, but on a Tuesday, the second day, I realized that the injury that I developed from the Yemensa trip, reared its head. I started feeling pain again in my leg, and I realized that this was not looking good. At that point, I became a little bit alarmed. I was worried that if this continued, then I would not be. It's either I cut that Afadja trip short and then allow my injury to fully heal before September 15, or I have to just walk through it and see how far I go. But luckily for me, when you have a project, you embark on a journey, and you invite the good Lord to join you, He puts solutions in your way. Luckily for me, Clemens had a cream called Polar Ice. It's just like deep heat or deep freeze. I had deep heat and deep freeze with me, and I'd used them in the past. They didn't give me the kind of relief that this Polar Ice gave me. The moment I applied it, like within an hour, the injury, it just started disappearing. Within like 2 hours, it was gone. That was like God manifesting His presence. I just knew that He was there. That alone also told me that, Afadja will be what? Finished. Because the only concern I had at that time, which was, I think, on the Tuesday, when the injury reared its head back, was that. Now here I was having access to a cream that I applied, and I sorted it out. So the Wednesday, I knew that, Charlie, action time. So we hiked again to Afadja. But the interesting thing was, the first day, when we went, all of us fell down multiple times. Either going up or coming down, we fell down multiple times. But by the third day, which was the Wednesday, we were falling less and less and less. Okay? We're falling less and less and less. So I think on the Thursday or the same Wednesday, we decided to do Afadja. So we did one trip and then went to another waterfall, which is the Tizo waterfall. Very, very beautiful. Very, very. It's not popular. People don't talk about it. I just heard about it when we were there. Extremely beautiful, yeah. So we hiked. We went. I sat on the Okada. I didn't even know where to place my leg. And I asked where to place my leg, and guys were laughing at me. But we sat on the Okada and went all the way to the Tizo waterfall. Beautiful, beautiful experience. So we came back. Then on Thursday, we decided to hike twice. So go up and then come back down and go back up again. As through all of this, I was watching these two gentlemen who were really having a difficult time. They were having like a crazy time because they were not fully prepared. And because they were with me, I also made them aware that we were not going to quit, we were not going to give up. Quitting was not an option. So I knew that look, they were struggling, but the will, the desire to succeed manifested itself. So we kept on talking to each other. So we got to a point on Thursday, I said, Charles, you are going to be the leader. You are going to lead us to get to the top. Okay, you're going to be the leader. Clemens is going to be between, you and I. So I was at the end, Charles was in front, and Clemens was in the middle. So when I motivated him with that being the leader, of course, if he's the leader, then he has to get us to the top. But in going through all of this, I was looking at the team dynamics. Okay, how do I, as somebody of my caliber and level, how do I groom and make new leaders? How do I get these guys to be 100 times better than me? So when I put Charles in that position, I knew that he was going to succeed because he's very competitive and he has the will, he has the drive, even though physically he was tired. And prior to that, on a Monday, the first Monday hike that we did, his hiking boots, their soles fell off. When we got to the summit, we were descending, their soles came off. So this guy had to kind of like walk barefooted, all the way from the down to the bottom. So he exhibited what? Resilience. He endured, he did not give up. So I've shared pictures of the boots that, the soles came off and all of that. So we did that on Thursday successfully. Then on Friday, it was Clemens' time to lead. But Friday was more challenging. We're going to do it 3 times back to back. 3 times back to back. But in all of this, I was having a difficult time because I was not able to sleep in the tent. I was not able to sleep. The tent did not have ventilation. So when you're in, your body heats, and you're in the air you breathe and all of that is stuck in there. So it's stagnant. So it's difficult to breathe. So I was not able to sleep. Coupled with the ducks, the frogs, and the crickets making noise, and the cats. Okay? So I didn't really have any good sleep the whole time that we were there. But remember that there's a reason why I subjected myself to all of this. Because when I go to Kilimanjaro, I'm going to be in an environment where it's going to be very challenging. So I didn't want to go to Kilimanjaro and experience things that I could have experienced here. So, sleeping in a tent, something I've never done before, I wanted to know how it's going to feel. So when I go to Kilimanjaro, I will know what to expect. So I want to minimize the surprises I'm going to have at Kilimanjaro. That was part of the reason why I subjected myself to this torturous project. But I also said to myself that, yes, I know I'm a lion. I know I'm a go-getter. I know I'm a fighter. I know, when I set goals, I put in my all and all of that. But I needed evidence. I wanted to test myself. I wanted to test myself. I wanted to know how far, at what point I will break. Okay? So there are mornings when I wake up, I really don't feel like going. I don't feel like going because I didn't have good sleep. I didn't have good sleep. And I'm a very light sleeper. So any little noise, I will not be able to sleep. So now I was really struggling. And knowing very well that, look, with the lack of sleep that I had, now we're going to do a 3, hike back to back. That's going to be torturous. But I also knew that with the resilience and endurance, at the back of my mind, there was no way I was not going to do it. So Clemens was the leader, and we did the first one. On our, we got to the top. On our way back down, then it started raining heavily. So it had rained on Monday, which we had done, but that was only one hike. But on Friday, the morning, it started raining, and it was very, very heavy. At that point, we had 2 choices. Either, look, we just chill and wait for the rain to stop and go. But I was like, guys, let us go. Let us go. So, and then and because we had done the route a number of times, we knew where to step, where to, what roots to hold, what part of the rocks to hold for support and all of that. But now with rain, now all of that becomes more difficult. Yeah, extremely difficult, extremely difficult. Now we couldn't tell, what rocks to hold, what leaves, because right now the leaves were kind of like wet, there was water flowing, it was muddy and all of that. So it became very, very difficult. But I embraced and I love the challenge, because when you ask God for something, He's going to give it to you. So now here we were, with all the elements coming together to do what? To deal with us. And the first time we got to that summit as well, I saw ants with wings. And this ants and wing, with wings, kind of like, decided to like set, create separate groups, and we're just hovering around us and then just disturbing us. So we didn't get to stay long up there. But now whilst we're coming down, then the rain started. Okay, the rain started. I'm not going to talk about my daydreaming in this part because I don't want trouble. So I'll leave that out. So the rain started, it was very heavy. But I embraced it, I was happy about it, because in life, you don't always have to wait for challenges to come at you. You can create your own challenges and then see how well you do, so that in the future, when you encounter it, you've seen it before and you know how to go about it. Okay, you know how to go about it. So some of the key challenges that we had within the 7 days that we were there, primarily were cold, because when it rains, it's very, very cold. The heavy rains, the wet tents, so you go in there and your tent is wet. So it got to a point where the mattress was wet. Okay. Then the other one which was most difficult was the wet shoes. The hiking boots I had was like heavy, and when it got wet, it was like insanely heavy. And then now the socks also got very wet. So now here we were with soaked shoes and socks, and it's very difficult to walk in with shoes and socks that are wet, coupled with the terrain, the wet floor, the wet ground, the boots, the leaves, and then the rocks and all of that, then the muddy water that's coming. So it became very, very difficult to walk in. And then the flies and the bees, when you get to the top, they hover around you, and it's very annoying. It's very, very annoying as well. So all of these elements, when you put it together, you start questioning, asking yourself, Charlie, why am I doing this? Is it really necessary? Do I really have to go through all of this? I'm not being paid for it or anything like that. But for me, I was embracing, I was enjoying, because I wanted the discomfort. Because in life, if you are in comfort all the time, you're not developing. You're not learning, you're not knowing who you are. Yeah. So I embraced it and I liked it, because in the process, it's teaching you patience. It's teaching you a lot of things that you don't even know you're learning. And these are the things that you need to be able to succeed in your professional life or personal life and things like that. Then fatigue also sets in, because with lack of sleep now, your body, you get tired faster. And in the mornings, we don't really have like heavy breakfast. And now we've got 4 pieces of wheat bread, and then we'll just slice some for ourselves, and then just have a cup of tea, then off we go. So we're not like really, really well nourished in terms of eating when we're doing the morning. So all of that, and then the heavy hike, and the pace at which we're going was also draining and sapping our energy, right? So now we're dealing with what? Fatigue, legs that were super tired, then waist. Then your waist area, you start feeling pains because you kept on going, coming out. So the waist area started feeling pains around that as well. Then the headaches, were slight headaches and then dizziness. I felt a little bit of that, but then I had to take water and then chill. Okay. But this is also interesting, something that I realized. The first day we did about an hour and a little bit on top of it. Then I think on Thursday we decided that we were going to go straight without stopping. Okay. Prior to that, our record was like 53 minutes to the top. On Thursday, when Charles was leading, we actually did it in 30 minutes, non-stop. 30 minutes to Afadja, to the summit and back. Okay. But here were guys who have not had a chance to really train and prepare and all of that, who were just put in the situation. So these guys had to become superheroes. They had to dig deep into themselves, a part of themselves that they didn't know existed, to really, really keep pushing. And when I look at them, I'm like, look, these guys are the true heroes of us Endurance Week, because it was torturous. And I know for a fact that, look, tons and tons of people will give up. But these two gentlemen, Charles and Clement, did not. In the worst of it all, they are setting records. Okay, they are setting records. Then the hunger, because we're not eating well, that also came in and took a hit here and there. Then doubts, doubts also creeps in. And then you have the thoughts of, Charlie, I've done enough, do I have to keep going, and all of those things. And having a strong mindset is crucial and key here. Okay? Personally for me, I was like, look, I am going to finish. If I have to walk on my head, I'm going to walk on my head. I'm going to finish. You remember what I always say? When you have goals, put them out there and try to go. Do your very best to to complete them. Only give up when your health, your life is in sincere danger. And at that point, I didn't think I was in any form of danger. For the little discomfort here and there, I knew it was part of what I had bargained for. Okay, what I had bargained for. Then the part that also got me most nights was that we're sharing, a bamboo wall with a cemetery. And I'm not really superstitious, but sleeping outside in a tent, no cement wall or with what do you call it, electric fence, no security guard. You have these elements of dogs and all of those making noise, and then you have a cemetery next door. I mean, you can imagine. So there are nights when I had to get out of my tent to go and pee, and I'm like, Charlie, what am I doing here? I mean, this killing thing there, I'm not sure whether it's really worth it. Then I remember why I started. Then I'm like, you know what? No, I got to go through it. I have to go. I don't have to stop. So the cemetery part got me a little bit. It got me a little bit because you're not talking about tents that are like super strong. So it's just like you're exposed. So, but that was an interesting experience as well. Okay, but what were some of the key lessons? Yeah. So I wanted to know whether truly, I knew I'm a type that can really persevere. I'm resilient and all of that. But I wanted like real proof. I wanted like real proof. So having been able to hike, Afadja for 10 times in a week, 10 times, summited in 10 times per week, I know for a fact that when it comes to perseverance, resilience, and endurance, I can check them. And these are things that I believe the other guys also, are taken away. But most importantly, I want those who are watching and listening to know that, look, it's important for you to succeed at life. You have to persevere. You have to be resilient. You have to endure. Okay? You have to. Then teamwork. So it got to a point where, for us to be able to succeed the way we did, we had to do teamwork. I had to, even though I was, the key guy behind it, I needed to also make sure that, look, I was listening to the leaders. So when I made Charles the leader, then I can't be given instructions. Yeah, I had to listen to him. So I had to listen and obey his instructions and things like that. When Clemens was the leader, we had to do that. So in terms of leadership, in terms of teamwork, it was brilliant because we did a lot of teamwork. We did things together. And and as the senior person who was there, when I realized we were struggling with things, I'll keep on motivating them and stuff like that. Charles had his own little jokes here and there. He kept on saying my leg. He became a rapper during the process, And so we had fun. Clemens will conserve his energy by not talking much because he's trying to figure out, how to succeed and how to, all this. So they got to know who they were, and I remember what I said, know thyself. And to know thyself, you have to push yourself. Don't wait for life to push you. Set things up and through the process, know yourself so you know how to prepare for the things that you seek in life. Okay? And also set huge, big, humongous goals. I mean, anybody who hears that the guys took a week off to go and summit Afadja on a daily basis, I'm certain that everybody thinks we are crazy. Yes? But I consider that a huge, humongous goal towards a bigger goal. Okay, so set huge goals that when you achieve it, you look back and you're like, you know what, I did it, and you should be proud of what you've done. Okay? Then I also wanted to know whether truly, am I fit enough to go to Kilimanjaro? I can cautiously, optimistically say that, you know what, I think my fitness level, I am solid. I don't recollect feeling like really, really super tired whilst I was hiking. I think the only part was that I already knew the route, so it became like a chore. I wasn't feeling, any serious uneasiness that made me question whether, no. So in terms of confirmation, all the prior physical activities I had done with TMC and all of that, it was paying off. It was paying off. When I compare it to the very first time I hiked Afadja in February, and then what we did, I mean, they're like miles apart, So practice yields results. And that's what was confirmed to me during this trip. Okay, in a connection with nature. When I was there the whole time, okay, just being with nature, the mountain, the bamboo trees, the waterfalls, and all of those things. I just felt I was in a whole different world. I was in like paradise. It was so beautiful. I didn't feel any stress. I was calm. I had inner peace. I was just like super happy, a feeling that I've not had in a very long time, a feeling that I've never had in a very, very long time. So, connecting with nature the way we did, Even though the flies, the ants with wings and the bees, I sighted snakes twice, and all of those, some of them were a little bit scary, but in totality, it was an amazing experience, it was an amazing experience. Hearing the waterfall, it gush, hearing the stream, just flow, seeing the bamboo trees kind of like connect and build like a little cover of, it was just insanely beautiful. It's just something out of this world, and that feeling is something that is, to me, is priceless. I thought, there was a sense of freedom. There was a sense of freedom. When you live in the city, you feel like, you're trapped, because there's too much going on. There's a lot of issues, pressure, demands, and all of those things. Whilst there, it's like I had left everything behind me, so there was that sense of freedom. And if I truly was a bird, a bird, I know I will fly, I'll fly, That sense of freedom was there, which something that my spirit was filled with hope. Looking at all the big dreams and the things I have to do and I want to do, I just knew that I would be able to do it because of what I've gone through and how I felt. So there was that spirit of hope and belief, and it was powerful. Yeah, the bamboo paradise experience, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Sweet, I love that as well. I talked about all four. Then and being able to hike it 10 times, now for a fact that you have evidence of being a conqueror, a winner, So that experience is something that I personally, I'll be able to take into other things I do, So, as an entrepreneur, I'm working on my next big, business ideas and things like that. When I connect it, I just know that, I'm going to succeed at those things. In the past, in my past life, I always put entrepreneurship, work, and money and all of those things first. Okay, and I was chasing those things. But now that I'm a little bit more wiser, I've realized that no, that should even come last, because when I build my foundation and it's strong and solid, I will now be able to now tackle business properly. So now it's about living smart, which starts with what? You taking care of your physical health, your mental health, your mindset, and all those things that we talk about in TMC. Then how you zoom in on placements. Now when you're doing that, it really makes sense and it fits. Okay, it fits. Now increasing the faith of my maker. At that point I realized that, look, my God truly exists. Because when I looked at my progress from where I have been to where I am, the experience, the feeling, the thoughts, the hope, all of those things, I can't deny it. I can't deny it that, look, He is there every step of the way. He's there every step of the way. And when it's all said and done, whatever I've done and I'm doing is to His glory. I just knew it. And that alone. So anytime I felt that I was bored, I felt like, oh, you know what, this isn't really worth it. I knew that the ultimate glory was His. Therefore, why quit? Why quit? So there's a bigger purpose aside my personal, ambition of being able to be prepared to go, finish Kilimanjaro. I knew that I wanted to let Him know that, look, I believe in Him and I trust in Him, and I know that when I set big goals, even though I may be delayed in certain, areas, when it's all said and done, He will see me through. And it was proven. Okay? And you also are talking about how when you have goals and you include God, He always finds ways for you to keep moving. So when I talk about the magic cream that Clemens gave, now I know that I'm going to take that all the way to Tanzania with me. And if I encounter any physical, whatever it is, I'm going to definitely use it, which I think that it's like a big plus. And the fact that He was able to, God was able to get good people, even where we lodge in Plateau Falls. There was a caretaker, the manager there's called Elvis, really nice guy. He really took good care of us. The cooks, they just took like really, really good care of us. So we had like a really lovely time. No long things, no drama, no fights, no disagreements. It was just filled with humor, laughter, and we teasing each other, and just, focus on the mission. Focus on the mission. So God plans help us along the lines, and when you believe, you will see it. You can't deny it. Then Saturday, so Friday evening, we got good friends, about 10 friends, and their family come, to also join us to hike Saturday and Sunday. So our very good friend, catalyst, our senior catalyst called Lee Baba, a gentleman I love, I respect so much. I went to a cracker dummy with him. He came as well. He was in the UK, the catalyst in the UK, so he had come. So he came to join us with two other classmates, Emmanuel, Bringer, and then Astronica, that's his nickname. So they, Brenya and Astronica came with their families, so their wives and then their children. So on Saturday, we all went to hike Afadja together. Then we did Tabo Falls. Then on Sunday, which was the last day, we went to do really waterfalls. Then after that, we all came back to the lodge to have lunch. Okay, but for me, whilst we were having lunch, if you look at some of the pictures, you realize that I sat alone. And when I sat alone and I was looking at them, I was just super thankful for what God had done. And the lessons were very, very important to me. One, it's about friendship. It's about family. Okay, and on Saturday, when we had summit and we were descending, I think about 3 minutes into the descent, I overheard Brenya and Astronica saying, you know what, this thing is so good. Let's do it every month. You know, then Brenya was like, our work schedules may not permit, but let's do it every quarter. And it's interesting because I remember when I spoke to Astronica, he was the same guy who, he said, Michael, I thought I was fit, but this has exposed me. So when I look back at what they had taken out of it, and realize that, look, there's more they can do to be in better shape and be in a better place, for me it's priceless. You remember what I said? The rest of my life I have dedicated it to helping other people find meaning to theirs. So by just creating, you know, an event like this for which, you know, my good old friends can come and partake in and realize that, you know what, there are some areas of their lives that they need to really, you know, change and focus and put more effort in. For me, it's priceless. It's priceless. Yeah, it's priceless. So when I heard them plan, I was like crazily excited and very, very happy, even though I didn't show it much. So on the Sunday, when we're all having the family, you know, all of us were there and all of that, friendship and family is key. It's key. So if you're listening, you're watching, do whatever it takes to maintain the best friendships that you can. Learn to forgive, learn to let go, learn to care, learn to love. But whatever you do, try your best to keep your families together as much as you can, because when it's all said and done, that is what life is really about. So this week of endurance has been very, very fulfilling. It's something that I'll recommend to anybody. You don't have to do 7 days as we did. You can do 3 days, you can do 4 days, you can do whatever it is. But here's the thing, my brothers and sisters. Find activities that takes you out of the city, that takes you into nature, that takes you into nature. Okay, trust me, I have been a city person chasing big dreams and all of those things. I can tell you that with what I have discovered, nothing beats you getting out there and re-energizing yourself, reflecting and introspecting. Get out there, hike, walk, swim, but get out there. Because guess what? When you are out there in nature, the way you feel, you have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea. I don't know how else to express this. I don't know whether I should send everybody $1 million for them to get out there in nature, but all I can say is get out, get out, get out. Now this one is done. Week of endurance is done. I would say it was a success. I would say that I also want to say a big thank you to Ikea Donef for helping, you know, set it up. Cynthia, you know, Fiamua, and all of these people are catalysts who were part of it, who helped make it successful. If I've not mentioned your name, forgive me. But anybody in their own little ways who made it successful, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you as well. My parents were worried. They know that their son is a crazy son, but I know that their parents were with me, so I thank them as well. And for all the people who are also on Facebook who have read some of the updates and shared their comments and support and all of that, thank you as well. At the end of the day, this is the life. This is the life. And let us live it smart. The next event is September 3rd, which is the marathon, Millennium Marathon. It's a 21K marathon. So a good number of us have already registered. If you've not registered, register, go out there, and let's succeed together. Then thereafter that, I start winding down, getting ready for Kilimanjaro. But now if you're listening and watching me, I am going to hoist the flag of Ghana to Mount Kilimanjaro. For Mother Ghana, not just Ghana, but for Africa. And I'm also going to do that for TMC, the Mental Catalyst Club. The only reason why I will not be able to do that is if God says no. But aside of that, nothing will stop me from summiting Kilimanjaro next month. So as you're listening, you're watching, I'm just an ordinary person who has decided to live his best life, to dare to challenge himself, to know himself through self-discovery, self-improvement, and self-mastery. And it's the same thing I wish for anybody who's listening. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Take that step. Dream big. If you have doubts, challenges, hit me up. Call me. Let us have a conversation. When these events come up, participate. This is the life. About 3 days ago, whilst we were there, 3 days ago, I got a message on my WhatsApp. Somebody that I know so well went to bed and did not wake up. She was doing an all-night, virtual all-night. Gave her mom, communion at night. Wished her good night. At 2 a.m. went to bed and did not wake up. Tomorrow is not promised any of us. Tomorrow is not promised any of us. When I look back in the past 3 years, I have lost good friends, good close friends. So it's time for us to live. Not only live, but to live smart. So if you're listening, if you have emotional baggage, there are people out there that you have issues with, drop it. Call them, send them a message, make up. You don't have to be best friends. Let it go. I am going to kill you. Not for me, but for us. Kili will fall. Libaba, Kili will fall. Kili has fallen. Kili must fall. But surely, I am going to have a date with Kili. So till then, guys, thank you so much. I love you guys and take care. Bye-bye.